Hey, good evening. Welcome to the December 11th Palmer Town Council meeting. Would you all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before I start the meeting, I'd just like to introduce Bob Reed to everyone. Bob was hired by the council, I think 3 weeks ago, as the interim town manager, and he will remain with us until we hire a permanent town manager. So welcome, Bob. Thank you. Next item is visitors' comments for items not on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
Steve Cosmeter, Thorndike. We spent a lot of money, I've noticed, on highway equipment. And I'm questioning why we're hiring so many outside contractors to do highway work.
Snow plowing? Snow plowing, or what are you talking about?
No, not the plowing, just the general, sidewalks and drainage repairs, sewer repairs, catch basins. I see outside contractors doing the work that highway department used to do.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to leave your telephone number with Mr. Reed, and you and Mr. Reed can talk offline, and you can give him some examples, and he can look into it. Okay?
Hey,
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
one other thing, were you gonna vote on that water discharge plan today?
No, we're not.
Or not?
For the enterprise fund for the runoff, is you're talking about storm? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little while, but we're not going to be taking a vote tonight.
Okay. My feeling is that similar to the fee that was charged for the businesses, some of these plans seem like you're trying to circumvent Proposition 2.5.
Okay, so that's an agenda item, so if you want to talk about it during the when we're on that for the agenda, but we're not even going to vote on that tonight, and I'll explain when we get to it, so that might solve all your issues, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Pat Conti. I live on Farragon on Lake Thompson. And last meeting, I came to, I guess, complain about the water coming down Flint Street and down into the lake. And I wanted to say thank you. It was a really quick fix putting in the one storm drain, and it's catching at least 50% of the water. There's still a little issue on the other side, though, and I guess we kind of had a little email back and forth, and maybe nothing's going to happen there.
So my understanding from what I had said to you was that you can't capture 100% of the runoff, and so I think it was more than 50% though in that email.
It was 90% on that, coming down that Flint way on Flint Street, but it's not 90% of the water, because that storm drain is, because it's coming in from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it as the 90% of the water that's being captured is being captured, what's flowing down. I guess it's the south drain.
So did you end up connecting with Mr.
I
Reed?
think I might have done it. I think I sent him something, or maybe I just kind of said, "Oh, they're not going to do anything."
Well, I think you should reach out directly to Mr. Reed, and he can speak to Matt Morse about it, but I just gave you back kind of what the information I got.
Right.
But anything more detailed, you would need to reach out to
I will.
him.
And actually, since then, because one of the things Matt said was, the road was in such disrepair, they wouldn't do it. But where they put the storm drain, that's paved like 6 or 8 feet down Farragon. That's not where it's trashed. It's trashed a little further down. So where they put the storm drain, it's got nice pavement. On the other side of the Farragon, Flint Street, all the water's running down and eroding the road right there too, on Flint Street. So
Okay.
Maybe I'll
Definitely.
send that to him and
Yeah,
maybe.
definitely.
We can talk about it or meet out there. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, great. Okay, first item under old business is the stormwater management ordinance. So this is ordinance 2024-01, and this was a bunch of different ordinances, if you remember, that were going to be all put together into one ordinance. So I received an email I was on this email from Ty and Bond regarding that there was no feedback given to Ty and Bond after they drafted this ordinance. And so I have a concern that, and Bob hasn't had time to review it in the time he's been here, but I'd like to table passing that ordinance tonight, just so he has time to review it. Matt had indicated that him and Ryan, and I believe Linda had sat down and reviewed it, but it just seems that usually when you pull so much stuff together, there's a really good chance that some things need to be adjusted. And from the email that I was on from Ty and Bond, that did not happen, so I would feel better by tabling it. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so,
Do we need a motion to table it?
yeah.
I make a motion to table it.
Is there a second? Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Okay. Now, the second item is the stormwater management enterprise. So, and I'm really sorry for my voice tonight. Bear with me. So we had an email last week from Bob that the enterprise fund that was being put forward referenced fiscal '24, which we're already in fiscal '24. And so on the advice of the town attorney, that we would need to start the process over. I do want to have a discussion about this, though, because I know that some of us are opposed to this, this enterprise fund in theory anyway. So I'd like to have some discussion as to whether or not it is the intent of the council to even want to move forward with this, or if we just want to not move forward with it, because I don't, it's a, as you know, it's a process to go through everything again. So I'll open that up for discussion.
I'll jump right in because you definitely know I'm not interested in this enterprise fund at all. The more and more, I drive for a living and pave and this and that. Anyways, the more and more I drive around, you look at places, and this is the managed water that's coming off the road, going into our runoff water system. And, in theory, it's a great idea, but the more and more you drive around, you look at places, and it's like, how can you even begin to try and fairly institute something when you have places that all the water from the road itself is going down people's driveways into their yards. None of their water is leaving their property. It's just, to me, the idea and theory behind it, cool, great, but it's just another money grab of just constant, because the state says we've got to do this. And, I feel if the state wants you to do it, then they should be coughing up the money to do it. It's something that's never been voted on by the people, this whole storm ordinance thing. The people have never voted on it. This is just, here, this is what we think needs to be done. Good, bad, evil, and guess what? You get to pay for it. So I don't think there's a fair way. It's God's reign on us, and I just totally disagree with the whole thing. The other one, with new buildings and stuff, the previous one, they needed something better, great. And when I read on it, I love, they always put, it's for the public safety and health and this and that. It's not, okay? We've all been living here our whole lives, and this is not gonna change the health of us and this and that. All it's gonna change is how much more money we get to spend or save. So I'll leave it at that.
No, I'm good.
All right. So I have a couple things. So a couple things came up, and one was business owners approached me and said, "Hey, what if my site plan mitigated the stormwater already?" So site plan review said, "Hey, you have to mitigate stormwater on your property." So if it's a new development, they said, "Hey, I already did the mitigation process for my site plan. Why do I have to pay more?" Was one question that came up. But there is language, though, in the document that says that if you mitigate or you already have put in procedures to mitigate, then there would be a discount of some sort. But my question would be, who decides that? Who would be the deciding factor? Not the council. It would probably be back on the planning board to decide
I
if...
thought it said, mentioned something about it comes right down to the DPW director,
It was a
correct?
storm, it was
Stormwater
a s-
director.
stormwater division.
Division.
Right.
Was being, which.
Right, so
I
now,
like
So
that.
who would determine whether or not that site plan was up to par to mitigate the stormwater, where they either pay little to none because they've already done everything they can to mitigate as much stormwater as possible. So that was one thing. And then two, while I agree with Phil that it's a money grab in one aspect, the other aspect is that it is an unfunded mandate from the state. We have MS4 now. We're going to be getting MS5 soon. That we have to, as a town, pay for these things to happen. We have to pay for whatever reporting needs to get done and things like that. So no matter what, if we get it from the taxpayers in the enterprise fund or we get it from the taxpayers in the general fund, it's still money that the town is going to spend.
right, and my argument to that is, again, be like the people that you're asking to take the money from. Find it in your budget. You know how terrible things have gone up since the government threw COVID at us? Okay? So reach into your pockets, cut what you got to cut, just like every American person has. To me, that's what I'm drawn to try to get to the people of this council is really look in your heart and look and see what stuff costs. And, I haven't even gone and bought one Christmas present yet this year. It's just, and yeah, I get the state saying this and that, but you know what? Sometimes you tell a state, listen, you need to cough up or whatever. Find it in your budget just like everybody else does. It's got to stop.
Yeah, whoever did this legislation should be let go and disbanded. This is one of the craziest things I ever heard. Water finds a way, no matter what you have, and it stunts growth for any business. What business is going to want to come to town when they pay extra for a big roof or a big parking lot? Even the tarring companies will be hurt by this. No one's going to want to tar more because it costs them more.
Well, you
I
still
think
have
it's
farms too.
ludicrous.
Farms, barns,
Yeah.
roofs
How
on the
can a
barns are going
farmer
to get
afford
taxed.
The barn, the
Yeah,
roof.
I'm totally against this.
And I mean,
And
I
the,
think
the
this
majority
started,
of the folks in town
this,
aren't
this
even on
started
sewer.
years and years ago, and I've been saying since day one of then that every town, that this is what the problem is. The state says you got to do this, and the towns don't never say, hey, listen.
Enough's enough.
That's great. Would love to, at every, we did the combined sewer. Palmer was one of the first ones actually that did our combined sewer separation. Meanwhile, you got Holyoke and Springfield when you have big rainstorms that are dumping raw sewage into the rivers. To me, that's more of a concern than, if you have your stuff separated, okay, you got cigarette butts and this and that are going, but they're not going into your sewer system. They're going down the banking or maybe getting to the river. So what you do is you put a culvert like they did over there, and the water goes in, everything settles, and the clean water comes out up top. I totally understand the idea behind it. It's awesome. It's great. But if that's what you want to do, you want me to have a certain style roof or a certain color house, then guess what? You need to pay for it. You want me to wear certain clothes, certain boots, then you need to pay for it.
So I actually thought that myself and Phil were the only ones that, because I was vocal from the beginning,
Oh,
as was
me
he.
too. Furious.
But, so you know, I think that my feeling all along has been that I didn't think this was very well thought out as to all the things that were brought up. Additionally, we still don't know how we would even bill it. The dollar amount that was kicked out was it didn't seem like it was a thought out amount as to what are the costs we have, so how much money are we looking to actually collect. But I do know that these costs are going to go up more and more and more. It's it's something that we definitely have to keep an eye on. But I mean, based on what everyone says, I would say, Bob, we're not going to be bringing this back, even though we can't move forward with it because of the fiscal 24 date in there. But it seems like there is no support from members that are here, which is a majority. So.
I truly believe that the town really, you want to meet what they're calling for. Everyone's smart enough that there's a way that it can get done.
Well, there are
and
there are
I
requirements,
truly
Phil,
believe-
though, that
I remember-
we have to do. Like there
Right.
are
Yes.
certain.
I get
we
that.
can't ignore
Yeah,
that.
I remember being at MMA, was it in January, where they have the big thing in Boston when this first came out way back then. And I went to that class, and they couldn't answer the questions in it. It was just, they instead of just being, they were put on these boards, and they dreamed this up, and so of course they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they give no thought to it.
Is this DEP and EPA or just DEP?
It certainly involves EPA.
Okay. All right, anything else on this? Seeing none? Okay. Next item is, under new business, is liquor license commission appointments. We need to make 2 appointments tonight. One is Robert Reed as the position, obviously the slot of the town manager, and then Jessica Sizer, a term to expire June 30th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is, we've received a letter, which I just got it actually out of the mailbox tonight. But Linda St. Ange, who is our town treasurer, she's going to be retiring effective January 4th. So just want to thank Linda for her years of service to the town.
Absolutely.
She will be missed, but I do wish her, and I'm sure all of you do also, a very happy and healthy retirement.
Just out of curiosity, how many years has she been here? Do we know?
I do not.
It's a lot.
It'll be on the cake, I'm sure.
Just curious.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. So with Linda's retirement, town manager has made an appointment of Shelby Lamoth as the town treasurer. So if you know Shelby, she's currently the assistant tax collector. We don't have a vote or anything, but I just wanted her to come in so that you could meet her. So Shelby, if you want to just come up real quick to congratulations on your appointment. And I assume she will be starting on the 5th of January in
Yeah, I
her
think we're
role?
all set with that. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So
Do good.
Congratulations.
that's it. You're off no hot seat. You can, yes. Thank you.
Two.
Next, we also have a town manager appointment of Justin Enright as the conservation agent. Again, this appointment has already been made by Mr. Reed, but I did want to invite Justin in just so we could meet him. So welcome, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
And I believe he will be starting right after Christmas.
Great.
So thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Of course.
Just on these appointments, I know that with Shelby, what was important to me was to talk to the finance people here in this building that she's been working with. She's been getting trained, and they were all very enthusiastic about her. Not just ability to do the job, but to do an excellent job. So I think that we were lucky to find someone here, and I'm sure we all like to promote internally. And so we're confident that she's going to do a fine job. And I know that Justin comes with the recommendation of the Conservation Commission. He wants to make this his career and is looking forward to it. So likewise, I'm very happy to make these appointments.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So the next agenda item is town manager appointment of a capital committee. So the capital committee will consist of Gabriella Potter, town accountant, Matthew Francis, school superintendent, Chris Burns, police chief, Matt Morse, DPW director. You can read.
Chris Burns, Police Chief, Matthew Morris, Public Works Director, John Latour, Community Development Director.
You want me to get you some water?
I have some. It's just what's going on with me. Okay.
And the town manager.
And the Town Manager.
Do
Take
I
it
have-
away.
Do I have a motion?
Make
Does
a
Bob want
motion.
to say anything first? This is the first time we've ever had a committee, right? Not that I remember in my
Yeah,
time.
we have had one in the past.
Okay.
Well, the membership is based on a recommendation, a study that the town had done by the Department of Revenue a few years ago. And I think that, at first, I think we were talking about foregoing this because the charter says I need to present a capital plan to the council 120 days before. But I think and thank you for expediting this tonight with this group. I think we can move forward with this. We have a capital planning form that we had gotten. Sturbridge has been a great help, and also some budget forms that we're going to be working on. So we'll try to move this forward. And as you know, a capital plan is very important as far as your overall planning and anticipating your borrowing and so forth. So I think this is an excellent group. I've spoken to all the individuals, and they're very happy to be part of the capital planning committee.
And this is just quick. This is going to be more strategic and not just a wish list, or start off as a wish list and then get.
Well, I think part of their responsibility will be to determine what is part of a wish list. I know I'm sure that when you're talking to departments and asking them for what are your capital needs, this committee will help determine what the priorities are, and what we really need to move forward on, and what, on behalf of this particular department, is a wish list. Some things, overall, this is a capital plan, but that doesn't mean that everything that's submitted is going to get funded in 5 years. Some of it may never rise to the part of being funded. But, to anticipate your borrowing, to help and put your budget together and your long-term planning, it's essential to have a capital committee.
Absolutely. And then just as a personal comment, because I can't speak for the rest of the council, an explanation of why they think they need it is definitely what I'm looking for. Is, a wish list is one thing, but being that we're on a budget and that we're trying to save as much as possible, like if they say, hey, I need a new truck, well, let's see why. You know what I mean? What are we replacing? We're not just buying stuff because we're buying stuff. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. A little more cognizant of town.
Yeah, that'll be part of the submission process.
Perfect.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
See if I can make it through this. Okay, the next is a discussion and vote on the makeup of the town manager search committee. Though I have been told we should not call it a search committee. We should call it a screening committee. So that's what we'll call it. So the last time we did a search, we had the committee was made up of 3 town councilors. I'd like to throw out the potential of having it made up of 2 councilors, a department head, and 2 residents. So it would be a 5-member screening committee. And then they would bring forth, hopefully 3 names to the full council for us to interview and hopefully choose a new town manager from. So I'll open that up for discussion.
You said 2 council, department head.
1 department head and 2 residents.
I definitely think the idea of the residents is a really good
Yeah.
addition to it. And I guess,
That was on there before because I served on the last one.
Yeah,
right,
It wasn't,
okay,
right, there was, I think,
okay.
4 of
the
them.
last one,
That
the
wasn't-
last one was just
That wasn't
councilors.
privy,
Just 3 counselors. The previous one, yeah.
yeah, I wasn't privy to that. Department head, who,
So what would happen is we would have to have I don't know whether we want to give it like 2 or 3 weeks where we would put something in the newspaper looking for residents. I'd have Bob send something out to department heads, letting them know that we're looking for someone and they would have to submit a letter of interest. And hopefully we have more than one that wants to do it and then we would have to choose. And then same thing with council. Like, I don't know who's interested, but anybody who is would have to, submit their name and then we would vote as a group.
I'm not opposed.
So the whole intent would be that we would be advertising for the search committee and appointing a search committee at the same time concurrently as the job is being advertised, so that we can kind of, once all the resumes come in, we can kind of hit the ground running and that committee will be formed.
I guess the only other question, why a department head? And not just say another town person?
I think it's nice to have the perspective of the employees. They have to work with this individual. They also are familiar with the town as a whole, municipal government, that background.
I'm just
So
curious.
I think there's 2 trains of thought on that. Like some places do put a department head on and then others don't, so as to not kind of put a department head on the spot. But
Right.
I don't know. I've served on them in my job more than once, and I never felt I was being put on the spot because I was just one of several people on the
Right.
committee.
Right.
And in the end, it's a vote of the whole committee who moves forward.
Okay.
So
I make a motion to accept your makeup of town manager search committee,
Screening
so screening.
Screening.
screening committee.
Yeah, we have to change the word. Okay,
Second.
so do you have that? So it's two town council members.
1 department head,
One
2
de-
residents.
Yeah.
Got a motion by Phil. Who second?
Carl.
Carl. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like for that to get on Facebook. I'm sure Jess can help you with the little cute boxes that she gives you. And then obviously in the journal. And I think if we have the deadline to be right after Christmas probably would work.
First meeting in January?
Well, they have to, we're gonna either have to do a special meeting. I'll have to talk to Bernie to make sure we're staying on top of the timeline. But, well, actually, because unless she gets it in the paper tomorrow, it's not going to be in the journal till the 21st.
Right.
Right. So, I don't know, but it's before noon, right?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we do,
You can do that, I'll write it up.
huh?
You can do that.
You think so?
Sure.
All right. So, but we could have the deadline be the 4th,
January
works.
4th.
Yeah.
January 4th, and then our meeting is on the 8th.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And where are people supposed to send their,
So they'll have to send it to the town manager's office. Yeah.
so residents, you got to
January
January
4th.
4th.
And it should be like addressed to, it would be for appointment to the town manager screening committee.
It's just a letter of interest, right?
Letter of interest, yeah. And then if it's a little bit of like why they're interested in serving, what their background is, I think that would be
who they are,
Well.
obviously, right?
Okay. We're good? Okay.
The 8th is our first meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next is a discussion and vote on the community profile for the town manager search. So I had, I don't know who met with Bernie. I had sent out, or he had sent out an email to everybody. Did you end up connecting with him?
He did catch me yesterday.
Okay, good.
We caught up.
So, I had given him some of the information so did you all get to read the profile that went out today?
Yeah, it looks really
It's like
good.
3 pages.
I did not read it yet, but
Okay, so we need to vote on that tonight, so if you want to like look at it, because we
I
just
never
gotta.
seen it. I was working.
Are we gonna discuss it?
trying to get
Yeah, I want to
here.
discuss it, yeah. So I had given like, some capital needs and some, upcoming issues. I think Jessica did the same. I don't know if Mark, I know you met with him. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
did.
we talked about a lot.
So he had incorporated some of those things into the,
Oh, this looks really good. In whole, this looks really good. Yes, I have some questions.
Yep.
About more on the compensation side.
Yep.
But other than that, I think it's really well written. Like this would be something I would like to see the town. This is something that I would put together to sell the town to somebody. Is the way I looked at this. It's a great document that explains a brief history in the town, economic wise, finance wise, everything, government position, our location. It's awesome. I like it. It looks really good.
But,
But
looking at his face.
a $20,000 a year increase in salary, and I think somebody had mentioned to me that may not even be enough. Have we done a salary study? I mean, obviously Bernie is in the business. He must have said, "Hey, we're really low at 140," which is where we were paying Ryan.
I think he's closer to 150, I believe. Isn't it like 147? I had looked that up.
Well, I think he forego a raise at one time.
He did, so it
During
probably.
COVID.
Yeah, but I think when I looked it up on the site, hold on, let me look,
I'm just out of curiosity. $160,000 is a lot of money.
plus or minus.
That was
Plus what?
Plus or minus.
Well, yeah, plus or minus. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
that was when yesterday he
So he
caught me.
said-
I was on the way to get Chinese or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, that's about the only part that." And he explained to me that which I don't know. I guess I've got to believe him. And is that the pool, the candidate pool and stuff isn't as good as what people think. It's not easy to attract a competent, good manager nowadays. I would have thought that you'd have all kinds of applications, but from his professional view was that, no, it's not,
We also have to look at what we're compensating everybody else, right?
right.
Right.
But
Compensating
that was
the police
the
chief
one thing that
more
stuck
than the
with
town
me.
manager, right?
He just had a rate study done, and I don't think he was that much higher.
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Was it? He got the bump for the police chief?
it's right, it's very close.
It's in line. It's
Yeah.
close.
So 146.8 is what Ryan was making in fiscal '24.
Okay.
So, and as you said, there was one year where he did not take it.
During COVID, right?
Right.
Right. He forgo.
So,
Which it was in his contract as 2%, but he just decided not to.
Right.
Right.
so yeah, I mean, I think it's all about, I know it's a lot of money, but it is all about what the market is, and that is what the market is.
That's the going rate currently for a 12,000 population city/town. I just think it's a lot of money. That's all I'm saying. I mean, for what Palmer is and the budget that Palmer has, that seems like a lot of money.
Do you remember what?
I didn't catch the amount.
Real quick,
160.
Mr. Reed, what is your input on it? I mean, you've been in this business long, and
I think it does seem like a lot of money, but, I mean, I've been as you know, interim in several communities. The last one was Northborough, Metro West. They were offering up to 200,000 and ended up having to go out and advertise a second time, as they didn't feel that they got the candidates that they were looking for.
Right, but we're talking near Boston, so average median income is $80,000 and up. Palmer's average median income is $65,000.
Is that high?
I think there's a lot of other
just went up.
factors too.
Right, I think there are some other factors. I think that you may have more difficulty attracting people because you are so far west.
Exactly.
Right,
And you have spouses that aren't going to be able, if you're pulling somebody from east,
right,
the spouse is not going to be able to keep working east
right.
or south.
I totally understand where you're coming from. It's just, if we're trying to steal, that's what it sounds like to me. Like, if the pool is so shallow that we're trying to be so attractive that we want to steal an active, manager who's in another town, then yeah, I mean, if that's where we're going, that's what it seems to me. Like, hey, let's just price it up so that we can steal a good one from somewhere else versus whatever's in the pool. I don't know. It just sounds that way to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because we don't know what we're going to get for applicants, right?
Correct. Right. And at $160,000 doesn't mean you're going to get a good town manager.
No, and that's why, so he does.
Two
It's
hundred
also-
grand.
you're also not saying you're
So,
getting
I mean,
160,000.
that.
No, I know. I
minus.
just yeah. It's
Plus or- right,
it says
plus or
plus-
minus
I get it.
based on- right.
It's written in there. I'm just saying yes. I'm there 100%. But somebody had said that to me also, that it may not be enough either at 160. We may have to go up.
Well, I'd rather start low.
No, of course, yes.
What was Ryan's when he left?
147.
146.8, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I'd like to start at 150, but, I mean, I don't think, obviously, we hired this gentleman for a reason.
Right.
Again, we're the ones
Okay.
setting, he's not setting the salary, we're just advertising.
Right.
But he's the one that's setting this up, and what I'm reading in, the letter to go out, the profile, and what we're willing to offer. And he came up with that price for a reason. And, as much as I'm a cheapskate, after listening to him, I just firmly believe that, you would get all kinds of people biting at the, but supposedly it's,
Well, and again, so we're looking for someone who has municipal experience.
right.
And like Bob just said, our location isn't ideal. So if you're
We've got a
further,
turnpike exit.
if you're further east though, you can make a move and be very close to other towns.
Right.
We can't do that. And again, it's not about that that's what we're gonna pay. I mean, we have to
Right.
look at
It does say
what-
plus or minus.
It does, and we're gonna have to absolutely look at what we get for applicants, and,
Right.
if you get somebody who's, again, we're hoping to attract someone that has, management experience, that has been a successful manager in another community. That's what we're hoping for, right?
Absolutely,
We
somebody
don't-
confident.
We don't know what we're gonna get. Did you have that number? What was it?
I texted, wait.
I think the one thing
160.
that you have in your favor is that it's a strong position.
Well,
I
it's
think that when people
158.
in this profession are looking to change positions, what they're looking for are two things. It's the money, but it's also more responsibility. But then again, with the additional responsibility here and it being a town manager in a strong position, then you're setting the bar that much higher. Are you hiring somebody that can meet that bar and can accept the responsibilities of being a town manager? Again, Northborough was similar. It was called the town administrator, but they had a very, very strong charter and is very similar to this town and their responsibilities. And again, they had that issue.
I remember discussing with him one point, because this was a large discussion with him. It was about this. Is let's say somebody from a major city that was looking to come here. Well, the person from a huge city compared to the small town, that person had access to a lot more people to take and do a lot more of his duties and assist with getting his duties done versus the small town now, you know, they're not gonna have all these other assistants and this and that. They're taking on the whole role themselves. That was a point that got discussed and pointed out to me, because I was like, well, geez, you know, somebody that's looking to get from a big city or whatever, and he's like, well, and he made that point to me that, you know, in a huge city, Lowell, we'll say, or whatever, you know, they have a ton more assistants helping them. Hey, you go do this, you go do this. Where in this small town and atmosphere, that falls upon that person's shoulder versus another, we'll say 3, 4, 5 people that person was used to having. And, you know, so, I don't know.
I'm not against it.
No, I know.
It just is a
Yeah,
lot.
trust me.
It's a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
we got a budget for it, so there's an
I
extra 20K.
I wish I went to school for-
or roughly 20K that we can find in the budget somewhere. And I know that we've been doing really well with the budget.
It's like 12.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. If he was at 147, yes. Right. So it's 12.
And it's less because that raise would have happened on anyway.
Correct.
So,
Right.
and you know, and whoever we hire, probably they're not gonna get another bump on July 1st. So that will be their salary
Right.
potentially. I don't know, depending what time they
Right,
come on board, yeah.
Correct.
And so, the superintendent is right around 158.
But we're talking PhD versus bachelor's degree.
Master's potentially, master's degree.
Right. But I mean, we're advertising for a bachelor's degree, minimum bachelor's degree, and the superintendent has a PhD, right?
I don't think degree has anything to do with it. It's experience.
Yeah.
Correct. I'm with you 100%.
I don't give a shit about their piece of paper. I want a person who's, you know,
Successful,
Successful.
confident,
Right. Who's going to be able to
work
do the
with
job?
others.
I don't care if they have
Civil.
17 PhDs. They could still suck.
Right. I'm with you 100% there.
Was there anything?
Economic development, you know, good.
Yeah, so that was
background with
that was
that.
one of the things. I don't know if he added it.
Let's see.
Me?
I'd asked him.
Yeah,
to
it's at the
put
bottom. It's the ideal candidate in that area.
someone who is successful in getting grants. Is that
Successfully
on there?
seeks grant opportunities. Yep.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
A visionary and decisive leader who can work well with various interests of the town. Yeah, this all looked really good. The only thing I questioned is the money. That's all. Right.
Did anybody else have any issues on any of the content? I'll send it to you. I'm sorry I didn't.
Phil, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Actually, the ideal candidate is quite a lot of what I actually had a chance to talk to him about.
Yeah, what I heard so far, it sounds good, and
Nope.
maybe start at 150 and let them negotiate it up or
Well,
down.
that's why you say 160 plus or minus.
Yeah.
So if they don't have the experience, you go you go down. Do not get emails.
This is. God, you can read
I've
that.
been doing
That's a
stuff
pretty
all
quick
day.
little
It
highlight
just
thing.
came
Did you get
today,
to read
right?
that?
Yeah.
No, I
Yes, it came today.
Let me just take a quick glance of what
Okay.
he thought the ideal candidate, the bullet points. I know I had just got it, I was in between, but
Yeah, so when I met with Bernie on Friday and I said, so we're meeting on Monday to finalize it, he was kind of like, oh, okay.
yeah, that's probably why he caught me yesterday. I was in between doing my chores and stuff and running out to get some supper.
So I mean, I just want to kind of keep the process going.
That's what, when I seen this, I was surprised. I was driving the truck. I'm like, oh man, I can't be looking at this.
Well, it's only 4 pages, but yeah.
I
Yeah,
just-
normally I don't like
Well,
getting
then I
stuff
just
the
totally
same.
forgot about it. I rushed and have
That's
supper,
okay.
get in the shower, and
All right, so,
Make a motion to accept.
As is. I'm there. I mean, you say plus or minus, I'm there. I mean, if we need it to be competitive, I'm okay with it. I'm just questioning it. That's all.
question that, why didn't we go to school for that?
It's not too late, Phil.
Why I'm not in municipal government?
It's better than truck driving.
I have a motion by
I
Mark.
just need the grant
Second.
experience.
Okay.
Either way.
I didn't know if we had a second or
He
not.
was louder.
It's fine.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
was it?
Aye. Opposed? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, subcommittee reports, I don't think we have any.
I have some old business real quick, because I
Oh,
know we
sure.
skipped over real quick, and you usually ask if there's
I
any other
do
old
usually,
business.
yeah. I think that was
where-
what I was choking, right?
I think so.
Maybe.
I just want to know what the status is on the roof of the wastewater. Did that go out? Did we sign that contract? Are we good?
Yeah.
We got an email from the consultant, the engineer,
Yep.
who was wondering if we could postpone the work for a bit. And we questioned that, and Matt sent him an email, and he came back with the, about both the roofing material and also the adhesives needing a certain temperature, or else they just won't function properly. I thought he gave some very good reasons why the work should be postponed. Matt and I are going to be setting up a meeting with him to discuss schedule a little more. Apparently, there's some steel work that's part of it, and I think they can start doing that indoors. I did take a tour of the facility, and I think the sooner we start the work, the better. And I think it would certainly be a good signal to the employees that this is trying to get this done sooner than later. But it seems to me, and I think Matt agrees in speaking with him, that it's better to wait to make sure that it's done properly and not done in the cold weather. And as the engineer pointed out, if it snows or what have you, that's going to delay the work anyway, so.
Right. So the only concerns that I would have is the current condition of the roof. Can it hold up to this winter if we do get a snow load? Like, are we okay? Is it safe for the employees? And then two, I don't have any problem as long as the price doesn't go up, because that was the biggest problem. We kept postponing, pushing off the decision of making this decision, and the price kept increasing. So
I think that's part of why we're going to have the meeting, just to make
Right.
sure. Actually, I think it's the construction company that's really looking for this, so I'm
Gotcha.
hoping that, scheduling and extra cost won't be an issue. But as far as going forward with the work and the snow load, I think that is a concern, that, is water going to travel and deteriorate the building, and that's part of what we need to talk about.
got it. Thanks.
But to your original question, the notice to proceed was issued right after that 21-day period.
Good. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything else about it, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that everybody here and at home knew that we were moving forward. We were not waiting any longer.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else under old?
Any new, I know I seen the crane show up, the bridge got moved into place, correct? Any new developments of, 'cause I know the asphalt plants are open till like December 20th or whatever.
They're closing Friday.
Are they? They did, yeah, it was the 12th or the 20th.
So
but
will
they decided,
the approach
the
and
local ones are,
Right.
but.
that was the biggest problem. That we knew we would get that in, but we didn't know if we were going to be able to get the approach paved before
The aprons.
Right,
to
the aprons, yeah.
to the-
Talked to Matt about that this morning. He's very happy with the progress that's being made. It's incredible we're cutting it so close. But he is, I probably shouldn't even say this, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he is like, what's the term, cautiously optimistic that we might get the paving done this week.
If it doesn't happen, it'll just delay the opening till spring. Correct?
I guess that's up to the, I mean, I would have to
I'm
look-
just assuming if we can't pave it and we can't use the bridge, right?
We could hard pack it, I guess.
So I
but-
know that if it's ready to go, it will get paved before they close, before the plant closes.
Gotcha.
So I think ask on Friday.
Yeah. We're gonna get the big scissors out and the ribbon, right? We're all gonna stand out there for a picture
Oh, the other
to
question.
open the bridge.
And I don't think it is one lane, correct? It's a 2-lane.
It's supposed to be.
It's
I
two
don't-
lanes.
It's a full bridge.
It looked
Yeah.
like one part of it hadn't been slid all the
Well,
way.
I know I kind of went down there and looked at the piece of equipment that was at each, and just because it was, people were discussing, it looks one lane, but as pretty sure, and I didn't want to pipe up until, but it is a 2-lane bridge.
Yes.
It was never discussed that it wasn't, so.
It was. You're right. It never came up that it was or wasn't.
Yeah,
So you are true. That is
From the
true.
piece of equipment, I forget the size excavator I see, and I'm like, okay, that excavator's got room on each side. It's a 2-room, it's a 2,
Lane.
but,
Okay.
What's the latest on the track? That was supposed to be completed before the school year started, and I don't even know.
It's not.
It's not going to be, so it's not going to be completed till the spring, I believe.
Okay.
same thing, winter
Yeah. I don't-
weather, yeah.
So, just curious.
Have you even had a chance to get updates on that?
I guess what I had heard and what I wanted to go down and look at was the drainage issue, but I had assumed the track was done, but I'll check on that.
The last I knew, we had spent the money on the new irrigation system, right? We had said, yes, we're going to put new irrigation in because if we did it after the track, we may have to undermine the track to get the irrigation in.
Yeah, the whole irrigation
Right.
system was a
There's
full
there's a
auto.
layer that has to get put down on top that I think that it isn't warm enough for it to
Right.
set,
Got it. Okay.
which is why it has to wait till,
But everything else should be.
I think everything else is done.
Gotcha. Okay. No, just curious. That's all. We hadn't talked about it in a while. I know it was supposed to be complete. So,
Okay.
okay. That's all I got.
Bob has a very long list.
I'm
Well, I'm
sure
sure
he does.
he probably, we could add to it, what was the cemetery and all of them.
Oh,
fences.
jeez.
I haven't even mentioned
I don't
that
think
stuff
he's
yet.
even-
Yeah, we're not.
I don't think he's got the touch to that yet.
We're not.
I
We're
mean,
not touching
It's
cemeteries.
a priority type of thing, you know.
Trying to deal with the,
Totally understand it.
okay. Subcommittee reports, I don't think there's any.
Nope.
Miscellaneous correspondence.
One lane bridge, it's actually a 2 lane.
I had a lot of people call and talk about the stormwater.
I did get one phone call regarding the stormwater.
Yeah.
That's why I brought it up during the discussion that I got. Business owners were asking
Yeah.
me that, hey, it was a part of my site plan.
Yep,
Why do I need to be charged? So I was like, I don't know. Let me ask.
yep. Anybody else have correspondence? No. Just while we're on correspondence, I did ask Linda how long she's been here, just over 9 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
Okay. Counselors Roundtable. Carl.
Yeah, the Christmas tree raffle was very successful. Someone in my family won a tree, so
There you go.
we
Oh, I
bring
didn't
one
win
home.
That's good.
So they do one too.
And they had a very good time there. Yeah.
It's always very nice.
Rigged.
I won one year, a long time ago. Like
Last
one of the
year.
first years we won. And nothing.
Yeah, I won one last year at the,
That's right. They're all very nice, so it's just nice to see them.
I
Yeah.
won the Crown Royal tree last year.
Nice. You didn't invite me over.
No,
I gotta say, the reason that all comes off is that light-up committee, Chris Smith and her group, Cabell's, are what really makes it, I couldn't do it alone, so those people come and put in hours and hours doing all that decorating.
It looked amazing.
My hat's off to that.
Yeah.
You guys all do a great job. And unfortunately, Three Rivers, Santa got rained out twice.
No, but
I know, that's great. I
we
know.
renegotiated with Santa and got him down to the PHCC.
That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
so he's obviously union.
Yeah. We also, I don't know if anybody noticed that Bondsville Fire posted their Santa parade route. So while Santa was in town, he let everybody know which directions he was going to take when on the 23rd. So the evening of the 23rd, the fire departments are getting together and they're going to drive Santa around town.
That's always
That was
fun.
fun. Last year,
Yep.
I rode the bike behind him, all lit up.
There you go.
That was fun.
Cool.
I think there's a lot of other organizations involved this year, so there's maybe a little bit longer, which will be it'll be neat. So
Has Santa ever gotten rained out though in the park? I can't remember. I mean, I know
Nope.
it snowed before.
no,
Not
actually,
since it started.
so the Christmas on the
Ever since I've
Common
been going.
has traditionally always been, if it didn't happen the first day, right, the first scheduled day,
Yeah.
it was canceled. So this is the first year that somebody decided, hey, let's postpone it for a week and see if the weather got better, because everybody's schedules happened to work out.
Yeah.
And it just was worse. So, unfortunately, it just didn't happen this year.
Everything still looks very nice. so.
Yes, and I can't wait for the snow because the gazebo is going to look amazing in the first snow. So,
Great.
I just wanted to light up Palmer, went off really nice. That was very nice.
That's right, yeah.
And thank 13th World, they showed up and.
There was probably 600 people that came up.
It was,
Loaded there. Loaded.
yeah, it was great. Really good turnout. And like I said, 13th World stepping up and the character. The kids loved it. It was awesome. You know, Merry Christmas to everybody. As far as the common there, that one there, that one hit home for me. The first time I went there was when I was a counselor for like 10 years, and then I stepped down. The first one I went to go check it out and be a counselor and this and that. That was the last day I got to see my father alive. He couldn't go with me, but he's like, hey, you gotta go. So since then, every year I've got to go. So but this is next year.
Yep. And then the Krampus event was really good. I went to that. It was fun. I mean, I saw
I
they
missed
had,
that one.
yeah, they had the cookies, the little evil looking.
Krampus
Yeah, they were
cookies.
like Krampus cookies. They were really cool. Yeah, they got gingerbread cookies, but they're little evil ones with little evil faces on them, and they had hot cocoa and snacks and everything out on the table, and it was really cool. The fire department was out there with the bum drums,
Yeah.
heating people up, keeping people warm, and
Was there a lot of people at that?
when I was there wasn't a lot of people, but there were people there, and I'm hoping that next year we keep this, tradition alive because I think it's really neat. I don't think anybody else does it.
Right.
People were dressed up.
Yeah.
Andrew was dressed up.
I
And,
didn't get to snag the costume this year myself, but Andrew was.
yeah, Andrew was dressed up. I got my picture taken with everybody. So
Because that was fun last year. I had the
It was a lot
costume
of
from
fun.
13th World, but we just didn't get to get it. And oh man, that thing is like so hot.
it was freezing out, so it would have been perfect.
Oh yeah, and the kids love it too. You think they'd be all scared and
Does a lot for
My granddaughter was.
yeah,
There should be a way to get that out, on the news.
We should, yeah.
Right.
Get them out here to film some of these things.
And I love it now how all the organizations in town have been working together and promoting everybody's events. So it's a really neat, it's a really good feeling to everybody to get everything together.
Page that just has all the different events and the dates that people can mark their calendars.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
people from other towns could come also.
I send out the tree festival in 15 towns.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Anybody else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So we're going to enter executive session for the reasons that Mark is going to read for me.
MGL C30A 21, number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. The United Public Service Employees Union, UPSEU, Local 424M, DPW/Administrative Union, Contract 2022 to 2025. Let me go through all three. MGA 21, number 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the negotiating positions of the public body. This in regards to Converse Middle School. MGL C30A 21, number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. This is in regards to Palmer Motorsports Park.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to go into executive session for the three reasons that were just read. We will adjourn immediately therefrom. We will not come back into open session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Motion by Matt, second by Carl. It's a roll call vote. How do you vote, Matt?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Bill?
yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, thank you. Good night.